Hello friends, in continuation of our pre-anesthetic evaluation of a patient who comes for surgery, today we shall be doing the airway assessment of the patient. As all the anesthesiologist knows that airway assessment is an integral and very important part for the anesthetist, and it should be evaluated in a detailed and in a comprehensive way to avoid any untoward incidents during the surgery at the time of providing anesthesia to the patient. So how we examine this, I will go to a step-by-step approach to assess the airway. First, let the patient should sit comfortably in front of the examiner. The idea is that both the patient and the examiner should be at the same level, so that nothing is missed while during the visual examination also. As it is an airway examination, first look at the face of the patient. Look for any deformity, look for any deviated nose, look for any trauma, look for any swelling. Anything you can look abnormal, just record it down. Then bravely and stand in front of the patient. Make sure both the patient as well as the examiner should be at eye level. You can ask the patient to take out the spectacles and make sure all the belongings of the patient should be taken care with respect. And subsequently look at the patient face. Look at any deformity, any abnormal structure, any signs of injury, or anything abnormal you make out, just record it down. Ask the patient to breathe from nostrils. Look at the nose also, because sometimes during intubation you never know, you have to go through a nasal way. So ask the patient to take a deep breath from both the nostrils one by one, like this, with the help of a cotton wisp. Ask the patient to close the nostril and keep like this, and check the patency of the nostril from the right side as well as then from the left side. So this will help you to keep a homework ready if at any moment of time nasal path is used for endotracheal intubation. Then ask the patient to show the dentition, check his dentition. See the teeth, see the hygiene of the teeth, look at any loose teeth, any artificial teeth if possible, and then subsequently ask the patient to open the mouth. Open the mouth and look at the dentures, any loose teeth, any caps, any braces, or anything abnormal. In the meantime, you can also look at the oral cavity as a whole, as a oral cavity for any abnormal breath. Then ask the patient to show the tongue. See for any abnormal tongue, any swelling of the tongue, any mass over the tongue. Nowadays there is a piercing of the tongue also, which is a fashion trend. So that also you should record it. Then check for the interincisor gap. In how interincisor gap is examined, stay in front of the patient, ask him to open the mouth. Patient's 3 finger, ask the patient to put the 3 fingers into his oral cavity. If the patient is able to put his 3 fingers, then it means the interincisor gap is sufficient, about 5 to 6 centimeters, and there will be less possibility that you can face a difficult endotracheal intubation. But if there is the interincisor gap is less, then be prepared for the difficult intubation. Now check for the Mallampati score. How we check it? Mallampati score, we all know, okay, that is a landmark, that is a technique, the oldest technique to assess the airway. Here we ask the patient to open the mouth, to protrude the tongue without phonation, and look for the uvula, look for the soft palate, look for the Fosh's pillar and the hard palate with the help of a torch. Then grade it accordingly. If all 4 structures are visible, it means it is a grade 1 Mallampati score. That means there are least chances of facing a difficult intubation. Then grade 1 and 2 is considered as easy intubation, then 3 and 4 are considered as maybe difficult intubation can be anticipated. Next step is mandible. The mandible pertusion. What is the TM joint movement? Because mandible is an important part of the temporomandibular joint. Because we have to record the we have to check for the TM joint movement. So that is done by the mandibular pertusion test. There are other tests also which I will tell you, but this we will demonstrate how to do a mandibular pertusion test. Ask the patient to move or to slide the lower jaw over the upper jaw like this. If the patient is able to do it, it means it is a class 1
movement, so there are
less chance of difficult intubation.
if the both the lower jaw and the upper jaw they are at the same level, that means there is a possibility that there is a TM joint restriction movement, so which will put you in trouble when you will doing a laryngoscopy. And then class 3 is the lower jaw is behind the upper jaw, so that is a definitely restricted TM joint movement. So there are two more tests, one finger insertion test at the TM joint and the upper lip bite test. So that you can go through the references from the various sources in the books or in the net, because otherwise it will be too lengthy to cover everything. Then comes the examination of the neck. So look at the neck of the patient first, then see for similarly as we started with the examination of the face, you examine the neck of the patient. Look at any swelling, look at any dilated veins, any signs of injury or anything abnormal. And then see for the two distances. One is thyromentum distance and the sternomentum distance. So thyromentum distance is the distance between the mentum and the thyroid cartilage. Yeah, normally it is 5 to 6 centimeters, means 3 finger breadth. This is how it should be examined by examiner's hand, not like that in case of interincisor gap when patient's hand is used. Here examiner can use his own hand. So extend the neck, keep 3 fingers below the mentum and between the mentum and the thyroid cartilage, and then see that whether you can keep it comfortably or you can feel some bony prominence. Then you can this is a sternomentum thyromentum distance, and then you can measure the sternomentum distance. Again ask the patient to extend the neck and keep one end below the mentum and the other at the suprasternal notch. Examine record that finding. Normally it is 12.5 centimeters. That shows us the length of the neck. So length of the neck, because some patients have short necks, most of them long necks we have never seen, but short necks we are seen very quite often. So short necks they are a sign of difficult laryngoscopy. Then check for the neck circumference. Nowadays neck circumference is becoming important, as we are also reading various journals. The neck circumference is given a lot of importance, especially in obese and bariatric patients. So how we measure the neck circumference? Check the most prominent part over the neck, that is a thyroid, and then keep the measuring tape. Ask the patient, you can take the help of the patient here like this, and then rotate it around the neck of the patient. Make sure it should be comfortable to the patient. One should not put it too tight that patient become uncomfortable and patient becomes annoyed. So after examination of the neck, the normal value of the neck circumference in females it should be less than 40 centimeters, and in males it should be less than 42 centimeters. Over and above these values, it is a red flag for the difficult intubation. Now check for the neck movement. Mostly 2 neck movements are important from anesthesia point of view, that is flexion and extension. So how we do it? Ask the patient to sit comfortably, and then ask the patient to with the chest, and then slowly take it back to a neutral position and extend it. If the patient can do it comfortably at the range of 90 degree flexion and extension, that is that will help you to put the tube into the endotrachea, into the trachea comfortably. Now check for the extension. In a neutral position, ask the patient to extend the neck at the maximum. Up more than 35 degrees should be sufficient for a easy intubation. Now an important point, because most of the patients they come with neck pain, cervical pain. Make sure when you examine the neck, patient should not complain any giddiness, any nausea, any vomiting, any clouding or any numbness in the limbs. So that means there may be some cervical radiculopathies or some cervical disc disease which can get aggravated during your intubation. So if such symptoms patient complains, then better to send the patient to the neurologist for the re-evaluation, and then take the patient for the surgery. Important thing which one should keep in mind while doing all this examination, or while taking the history or conversing with the patient, is to ensure the privacy of the patient, to respect the concerns of the patient, and not to lose temper at any moment of time. Even if you will find out
that patients many a times are not cooperative. They don't answer our questions well, or they don't understand what we do. But we, as a anesthetist or a medical professional, we should not lose our behavior. We should not misbehave them, and patients should not go with a bad taste from the hospital. So another thing is, there are so many other references also. This is only a review recording to assess the airway. One can go to the various literature like Wilson score is there, Lemon score is there, the various mnemonics are there, bones, moans, rods are there to check for the difficulty mask and mask and intubation when laryngoscopic assessments. So one should not do a shortcut. If any moment of time nothing is understandable, take the help, ask your senior, ask your colleague. Do not hesitate to discuss with anybody, even in your hospital or outside the hospital. So we have recorded this video with the help of our friends, Dr. Varunpreet Kaur. She is our final year DNB student, and Dr. Melvin, who is just left for a few days with us. He is moving from us in the next 3-4 days. They both of them helped me to make this video and present it to you all. Thank you.